Hello everyone, this is Shauna once again from Disrupt Apps LLC, and today I want to talk about Flock AI and the surveillance state that's coming up all around us rapidly. And this video's title, it's called Flock for a Reason. And you can see here on the splash screen that I have, you have a Flock camera on the left, which undoubtedly a lot of you people have seen by now. And if you haven't, that's what they look like. And on the right hand side, you're going to see a flock of sheep. And you can see right here, you'll understand why it's called flock for a reason. Okay? So I wrote up this little thing this morning. And again, I don't use artificial intelligence and I don't use any of these flashy graphics. I get right to the point. But it's called flock for a reason. And right here, this picture here you're looking at, this was at the Trump regime's inauguration. And these people literally, these are the big tech moguls who literally stood behind the Trump regime when he was inaugurated into office. And from left to right, we've got Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook, Jeff Bezos, the guy with the bald head that we all know, and he's the founder of Amazon. The next person is Sundar Pichai, and he's the CEO of Google. And next to him is Elon Musk. So you have, at the Trump regime's inauguration, you have four of some of the most powerful people in the world behind Trump. The most powerful people in big tech. And there's a reason why they all got behind Trump. And I'll go into that in a minute. And then down here you have Bezos, Pichai, Musk, Zuckerberg, and Tim Cook from Apple. And what I'm going to say is going to make it unsettling for people, but you got to realize the world we live in, and these people think they are your techno gods, right? Okay, they think you are their digital serf, their servants, all right? So you come down here. So if you're my age, which I'm 46, maybe younger, you may have played games like The Sims 1, 2, 3, and 4, and whatever, and you may have played the game like SimCity 4, right? And that was a world-building game. You know, you come in here and you build buildings and roads and you make money. Well, to these people, to these big tech oligarchs and to all the crypto bros out there, you are nothing but digital Sims. These people see the world as a real-time city building, world building strategy game. Okay? See, like I wrote here, you are nothing but Sims to these tech bro and crypto bro freaks. You are just digital play toys for the real-time global plantation strategy game. These tech oligarchs play you. They play you as simulations for their algorithmic games to be little obedient worker Sims following the algorithms they and their platforms program you to be. These tech oligarchs, as well as the 1% class and the current regime in power, they see you nothing more as domesticated animals that they have the right to control. And we are now at a point using technology that they can easily control and manipulate you like sheep. But I'm not a sheep, are you now? Are you not subjugated to their algorithms and to their apps and to their gig economy now? You are being conditioned to be digital sheep for your big tech oligarchs. And you can sit there and deny it all you want, but I'm telling you the reality of it. All right? So now beyond the superficial desire to monitor and control you as domesticated animals, there are two huge reasons why big tech and the Trump regime are rushing in AI surveillance like what they have in China for years now. There is a reason why you are seeing Flock AI. There's a reason why they want to get rid of encryption. There is a reason why they want to do that screen flashing where they can get on your phone and they can take screenshots or your operating system, whether it's Android, iOS, or Windows, where the government mandates that your operating system has to take a screenshot of what you're doing because they want a surveillance state. And there's two big reasons for that. And I want to go over them really quickly now. First, we are in end-stage capitalism, and big tech needs to make artificial markets. I don't know if it's been coined out there, but we are now living in a term I call fake innovation. And I made a video called Fake Innovation. We are living in an era of fake innovation where big tech has to make stupid gimmicks up to sell to people to keep the semiconductor fabs churning out wafers and to have software dominance. So if you get into like economic theory, we are living in America, we are living in a stage where we have mature and saturated markets, meaning that we've gone past peak innovation for a lot of technologies. And big tech has got to make stupid things up to sell to people to stay profitable. And one of those gimmicks that they've sold over the years was AI. One of the gimmicks was IoT, Internet of Things. Hey, we need to connect everything to the internet. Well, humanity got along for hundreds of years and thousands of years without everything needing to be connected to the internet. So why all of a sudden do we need IoT? It's because big tech is forcing this crap on us. And right now we are in the cancer stage of this. AI and automation are eating and will be eating the working class in the next 5 to 10 years. And this is driven by big tech's insatiable need for profits and market making. And so we're in a cancer stage of big tech. Big tech is a cancer. It's going to eat the muscle of our economy, the working class. Now tell me, what has changed in the past 100 years that we need AI surveillance cameras? Why must we suddenly, all of a sudden, have to have AI biometrics and eye scanning and all this crap? Why do we need an iris scanning orb? This isn't about safety or the children. It's all about money and power. I mean, those of you who are old enough remember going to the airport and all you had to do was show your ID. And then you had to go through, the metal detectors, right? There was a time that a long time ago, my family flew to the 4th of July across country and my father carried fireworks on the airplane. So what has happened to this society and this world that we need to have a security state? So you tell me, why do we need body scanners and why do we need facial recognition and AI, this and that and other things? Because big tech is pushing this on us. And it's because of inequality. It's because things are so it's so hard to make a living now that people want to steal crap. So we can justify it that way. Well, that's a sick way of creating an artificial market, making it so hard for people to live and survive that they create a crime economy, right? But I digress. So getting back on track, big tech has a mature and saturated market in first world countries. So basically, when it boils down to it, they're making shit up to sell. And that's what IoT is about. Why does my washing machine, why does my refrigerator, why does my toaster need to be connected to the internet? Why does my car need to be connected to the internet? Why does my car need to send data to whomever? Why does my car need to have all these, we don't need, if you grew up in the 80s and before that, you realize cars were just a mode of transportation. They weren't a mobile computer or a mobile smartphone. And this is because big tech is conditioning humans to be their slaves and to be totally subservient to big tech. Now, moving on. The second point has to do with AI, automation, and robotics destroying the working class over the next 5 to 10 years. Because of big tech's insatiable need for power and profits, they will work with corporations to AI and automate as much of the workforce as they can. And a lot of this has to do with market economics, because the more people they can lay off, the less people they can pay, and the more profits they make. So this is going to happen. We are going to have tens of millions of unemployed and underemployed Americans all across the country, both on the left and the right, utterly pissed off. And one day, and it is my hope that the majority of Americans will stop going after each other's throats and realize that it is big tech and greed and this regime that is really screwing this country up. But so much of this has to do with big tech and technological destruction that's going to destroy this country. And they're working big tech is now working hand in hand with the regime because they know it's coming. So when you have tens of millions of underemployed and unemployed people with no future going deeper into debt, with an out-of-control regime who thinks they can do whatever the hell they want, there needs to be a surveillance state put into place because Americans are going to get aggravated and one day shit's going to hit the fan, right? And it's only been in the past 2024, 2025 that Americans finally realize, not all of them, but some of them are waking up to how AI and automation and big tech is driving the destruction of the working class. And see, your big tech gods knew this was going to happen a decade ago. They've been talking about ramping up AI for over, a decade now, but they couldn't push it back then. They, being the regime and big tech, have no plan to deal with technological unemployment. There is no way of dealing with technological unemployment. We are in uncharted territory. I mean, the voting ain't going to fix this. Getting your representatives and congressmen and women to try and fix technological unemployment ain't going to fix anything. But the 1% know that when people have no jobs, no future, when they're going into debt and they're frustrated and they want heads on a pike, the 1% know that the Americans and people are going to revolt. And that is why they are rushing in this AI surveillance state. That's why we're seeing this explosion of AI cameras and surveillance state being rushed into place. Because the 1% big tech know as things get worse in America, the regime is going to need big tech's technologies to surveil you and to help predict who are likely to be the dissidents, right? Big tech and authoritarian regimes are the epitome of one hand washes the other, as big tech causes the destruction of wage earners and ruins the economy and gives people no future and sends them into economic ruin. The regime can bring in a blockchain AI biometric surveillance state, own nothing state, that the Project 2025 regime will use. And the regime will get its mass surveillance and control system in place while big tech profits off the oppression and misery of the collapsing society. So it's one hand washes the other. That's what's going on. That's the deeper thing. That is a fundamental structure of society that's not being fully taken out into the public view right now, is we're going through a radical change in what you want to call the social, what is it called? The social contract, if you will. Work hard, go to school, get good grades, bust your ass at work, be rewarded. That's over with. And you've got tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of Americans who are brought up and expected that social contract, that capitalism would give you that capitalism would provide for you. That's over because AI and automation are destroying the labor market. It will be a net destroyer of jobs. It's going to wipe out so many jobs, and it's going to cause a socio-economic havoc we have never seen before. And the reason they're putting all these AI systems in hastily is because they know what is coming. They need to control you domesticated animals. And that's where I said here, there is a deeper game going on here that some of you are aware of. The merger of big tech and fascism. That's what's happening right now. Because all those companies, all these people here, they donated to Trump. Right? They gave to Trump. You know that company Palantir? They're right-wingers. A lot of those tech companies, they all have right-wing leanings because they make money, right? Yeah, and they'll sell out to the left if the left gets in. But these people, they want a regime because it profits them to become a surveillance apparatus for the regime, for an authoritarian regime, right? So down here, in conclusion, this sheep on the right, this is you, America. That man shearing that sheep, that's big tech, that's the regime, because you are sheep to these people. Your whole point in this digital plantation is to be a digital slave controlled by algorithms. Your whole purpose in life is to be an obedient tax mule, tax sheep to go and consume and have your fleece and your wool sheared for big tech. So I ask you, is this what you want to be? Is this what you want to be? You want to be a sheep who's getting sheared by a bunch of technocratic freaks who think they have the right to control you? Is this the world that you want? I mean, is this the world you want to live?